95.3 Low Power FM, Tacoma y Pierce County. KQWZ 106.5 Low Power FM, One America Voice en South King County.
Sunday, June 19th, celebrating Father's Day, and here with my co-host, Pastor Dennis. He is celebrating Father's Day too, so we are going to have a show, and we're going to talk a little bit about everything. We're going to talk a little bit about fatherhood. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the politics world, because there's a lot going on in the United States with our ex-president and the elections that are coming. They're started to get heated a little bit. We've seen the candidates that are running in the Republican Party, and then I guess President Biden doesn't have anybody to challenge him.
Actually, he does. He has two.
And
I'll talk about those.
Okay, so I know we have this lady, Marianne Williamson.
And Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Okay, and also you know that Cornel West is running. I don't know for what.
Oh, okay.
What party, but he's running too. So, and I think Marianne Williamson, she is Williams. I think her is her name, not Williamson.
It's Williamson.
Williamson? Oh, okay. She's running independent too, or Green Party.
She's running Democrat.
Democrat too? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
There's 3 Democrats.
Okay. So we want to just welcome everyone that is listening to us this morning. Welcome, beautiful Sunday morning. I hope that everybody is celebrating their fathers, their grandfathers, their uncles, brother, husband, cousins, celebrate. And we're going to have Pastor Dennis talk a little bit about fatherhood. And we're going to just talk a little bit about it, what it represents. And there is I think a correlation when it comes to fatherhood. For me, I feel that when I talk about God, that is the first thing that comes to my mind. Father God, that's the way I like to see him. That's the type of relationship that I have with him. So we maybe can start from there just to see what means to be a father when it comes in, and not that we're comparing God with a human being, because he is flawless. And I know we make a lot of mistakes parenting. So maybe just the attributes that God have when it comes to fatherhood. And that maybe we can see in also humans, there's this thing about protection. There's this thing about making sure that you're providing all these things, that we have wisdom. So, Pastor Dennis, tell me a little bit about your experience being a father, especially a father of a girl.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. When she was young, it was like therapy to be able to come home and have a toddler running around. It was a distraction from the world. It was a way to leave the office behind.
And I imagine it was refreshing because I think kids at that age are so pure. They not mold yet from society or us. So I imagine there's a lot of things that is questions that kids ask at that age. The way they act, they don't see color, they don't see the genders, they don't see that. It's just pure at that stage. It's just purity and then they start getting formed and influenced by their parents and their peers. So I imagine that was the other thing that probably you enjoy being a father.
I do. Yeah. I think it gets a bit challenging when they get old enough to start figuring out your triggers. And they start deciding that they don't like some of the way you think or do things, and then you have to start doing a little self-examining. Okay, what role do I have in this reaction
with this human being? And I was thinking there is a study that says that kids between the ages of 13 and 20 something, they really, really don't trust their parents. After those ages, the start is just something about human being, that those are the stages where you try to develop and become your own self and think for yourself. So you're always pushing back from your parents. Because I was difficult for that age. I was the only girl in my house, and I always pushed back. I was pushing back constantly. And I think it's just figuring out. I think I still do it. I think I'm still doing it. But just figuring out who you are and what is your place, and not want my son. Even today, I struggle with my son, just making sure I let him be, and not because you want to get in and say, no, don't do this or do that or do it this way, and you almost have to just sit back and say, okay, I just let him. He needs to learn and have his own experience and fall down and get up and make decisions and all those things that we, as a mom, I tend to want to protect and say no, and it's hard to not want to,
Well, teenagers have to become their own person. And there are a lot of adults that have never become their own person. They have just followed the rules. They've just played it safe. And, I know a few people that are my age that are beginning to have and I think a midlife crisis is just that. I think it has a lot to do with them never becoming an adult, and now in the midlife, life is half over, and they're wondering, is this really all there is to life? And to deal with it. But one of the things that I was fortunate enough to pick up on young, and it sounds like you have as well, the more you tell a child no, the more they want to do it. So if you really don't want them to do it, avoid the word no.
That's exactly what they're gonna do.
Figure out a way to reason them into the right answer, where you're helping them think it's their idea.
Well, I think probably the most important thing as parents is just, for me, the greatest thing that my son, I think, could do, that I will feel proud, is for him to be a good human being. A lot of people say maybe be rich or president. No, just be a good human being. As you set yourself as a human being, then you see yourself as part of something that is bigger than you, but you're still part of that something. And then you start questioning yourself, well, what is my role in this something that is bigger than me, you know? And I think that, to me, that would be perfect. You know, he has empathy, and he learns to look at people and respect more than anything in life and other people, how they live, even though sometimes we don't understand what they're doing or why they're doing it. I think that's it. And I don't think there's a problem with the kids today, like your daughter and my son. They're learning to be more accepted, accept more of other people. We come in with all these different genders that in my days and in your days that wasn't exposed. I don't want to say it didn't exist, because I think it's always been there. So I think our kids, I'm proud to say our kids are more inclusive. They're learning more about being more thinking more globally than thinking just in their own little bubble. So I think I'm kind of proud to see our kids that Gen X, what they call them, because there are, there's nothing shocking that it will shock me, but it doesn't shock them, because they're living in a world where they're looking at people in a different way.
Yeah.
So
do you have a favorite memory of Father's Day with your father?
With my dad, the biggest thing with my dad, he used to like to go to the racetrack. He loved the racetrack, and he would, I don't know how they do it here, but in Panama, you get a book, and then you pick a horse to win on each race. And then you make like a little list. Like the first race, you pick horse 3. He make 3. And the second, he would pick 5. And he make a whole. And you see all the horses win that he picked. Then he used to get some money. And I remember he would always say and give me the book and say, pick a horse. I would just pick numbers, and he would write them down. He loved going and I love horses. He loved horse race and baseball. Baseball is a sport for that generation. People that were born in the 1930s, and 1920s, and 1940s. That was the sport of the day, right? So that's my memory of my dad. I love him bringing this little bucket. He had it roll up, and then we would open it, and we would look at the numbers, and we would write down numbers of horses. What is yours?
Well, I was going to say something along that point there. I found it interesting that racing is a favored event on Father's Day. Like in Mexico, apparently they have a foot race. And there was some other country that they also did racing. I don't remember which one it was. Oh, I think it was Italy, actually. So
it is kind of funny that Father's Day, it is globally, I won't say globally, most of Latin America has the same day. That for Mother's Day is kind of different. It's most of the countries in the Spanish Latin countries, they have it in May, but different days.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's 2 traditions for Father's Day. There is the tradition that connects Father's Day with Joseph, the Joseph and Mary story.
Oh.
And so Orthodox Father's Day is December 26th. And the third Sunday of May is the American version.
Oh.
So
I was thinking of Joseph the other day, but not that Joseph, the other one. I was telling a friend the story of Joseph. It was pretty cool though. But so what are we gonna plan for Father's Day today? What do you have planned with your 2 girls?
Well, My daughter oftentimes works on Sunday, so depending on what her work schedule this week is, we'll try to work around it and plan something.
I know restaurants get really, I don't know if it's the same thing for Father's Day, but I know for Mother's Day, you won't try to go out to eat, and it's crazy to just find a restaurant to go out to eat.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Father's Day is big as big.
No, somebody complaining about that the other day. That there's not much celebration about Father's Day like it's for a mom.
Right.
Okay. Yes. So
Mom, you have to go to church. You're guilted into going to church.
I know. we want to talk. There's a couple things we want to talk about today. There's a lot going on in the politics world, and we talk a little bit about the debt ceiling before our pre-show, the show that we had, the past show. We talk about the debt ceiling and what the whole drama that was around it was going to pass or not, is they were going to negotiate on it or not. And of course it was going to. I don't think for a moment that it wasn't going to happen. I just thought, for me, it was a lot of trying to show the people this little power struggle about Kevin McCarthy and President Biden. But there's a lot of things that me and you have been going back and forth about who get what. I still think that the Republicans, is they're not saying anything is because they pretty much got probably what they wanted. I'm just thinking that. And the sad thing,
there were like 3 Republicans that were calling on that day of the vote for people to vote no, and they were bringing a lot of attention to on the media to their plan to vote no. So, I mean,
I'm just thinking that when we said what the Republicans got on what the Democrats got is almost not even including that what they really, who they represent. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's their own little agenda, and we are just sitting watching this fight and not knowing that this fight should be more about us than about them and what they got.
The biggest thing the Republicans got was Biden and Democrats saying we will not compromise. We will not play politics with the debt, and so we're not going to give in and come up with a compromise. And that's exactly what Biden did. He compromised. So that's the biggest thing the Republicans got. I think and then the second biggest thing, I think, was ending the financial support for students with student debt.
And the financial support, it wasn't really, they was doing any support. What they upheld was the interest, that they would not get any interest. They wouldn't have to pay interest in the loans that they had. Those, when the pandemic started, that's one of the things that they did with the student loans too. And they said, okay, you don't have to pay the interest on the loan. And the Republicans, I guess, got President Biden to put back the loans. And I was reading that in October, the Secretary of Education already told the schools to tell the students that in October they're gonna have to start paying the student loans with the interest. And so that to me is just crazy. So you negotiate. I don't know. You have people. They're not really representing us. Really, that's not even. It's not. I don't even know why people don't see that they really sitting down, pulling power struggles, but not really to benefit the people that they're supposed to be representing.
Well, they're just doing the very same thing as they do with the poor whites and the poor blacks. They pit them against each other. And that's what they're doing. That's what they did here.
Yeah.
You know, how dare you get a benefit that I didn't get? That's what they taught people to think. If I didn't get it, you shouldn't get it.
And I think it is we as it doesn't matter black, white, or observer, as citizens of the country that put these people in power. There are public servants. They're really doing this stuff. Is we hold them and said, hey, this is not about you. This can't be about you.
Yeah.
Period. This can't be about you. And that we have to make sure that they keep the focus on the people that they represent. Then we talk about Joe Manchin. He even now, I like to listen to Tom Harmon, and they had this lady, she was saying that. She said, why it is that the Democrats don't say something to Joe Manchin, and Tom Harmon was saying because he is in the Democratic Party, but he's more he is more conventional and more what is that word that they call
conservative?
More Republican-like than Democrat. He's a Democrat. He is more conservative in the Democrat Party. And I was thinking, oh, I don't never see a Republican that is progressive in the Republican Party. And this was the answer that they gave. Like, well, Joe Manchin, he is more conservative. He's more traditional Democrat. I said, we don't hear that from the Republicans ever. You don't hear one person saying he's more progressive and he sides more with the Democrats. So it's just people that are fighting for their own interests, really. Yeah. And it is sad, and the whole system needs to be changed. We need to put terms so people just serve 1 or 2 terms, so they don't feel emboldened, they don't feel like nothing can happen to them. They're living in a bubble, disconnected to the rest of us, and the only way is having terms.
Well, I think there's a part of Joe Manchin's story that we really don't talk about much. He comes from a conservative district, and even if he wanted to be more progressive, I don't think he would have won an election, or he would win an election if he was too progressive. I think that's part of the problem with some of those people, that they live in districts where they've succeeded in getting a Democrat into power that normally wouldn't win that seat. And I think that's kind of what the case is with Joe Manchin.
And he is milking and manipulating this.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that he told the Democrats, if I don't get what I want, I'm gonna hold my vote.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he has sided regularly with the Republicans.
Yeah.
So why would I even want somebody like that on my party? I mean, because this is what he's doing. He is blackmailing these people and saying, okay, you won't get my vote is I don't get what I want.
Yeah.
And this is not, it has nothing to do with the people that he represents in Virginia. That is a very poor state. You know, a lot of people that are dying from the coal mines, a lot of people that has lungs problems because of the coal mine.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care.
Yeah. Well, you know, the Republican Party is the brilliant party for spins. They spin everything and make it sound like something than what it really is. They, you know, narrative
is the biggest thing. I mean, the way you say it and put stuff out there is very, and having all these different thousands of voices now with the internet and TikTok and we have Facebook and we have Instagram and we have Twitter. It's just a lot of voices. But one of the things, you know, the debt ceiling and they increased, I think they did increase at 3% in the defense area. That is, everybody agrees about that.
I don't know anything about that. I never heard anything about that.
Okay, so right here,
that is not in the article I have.
Okay, right here it says increase in defense spending. The deal will boost total defense spending to $188.6 billion in line with Biden 2024 budget spending proposal. That is about 3% increase from $858 billion allocated in the current budget for the Pentagon and other defense-related programs in other agencies. So yes, they never cut on that area. There's never a cut.
And now that's what actually passed, or that's what the House passed?
That is what passed. Yes, that is what passed.
Okay.
He put that there because he know he can never pass anything with not putting something on the defense part of it. So he already had this there. And then in the IRS funding, Biden and Democrats secure $80 billion for a decade of new funding to help the Internal Revenue Service enforce the taxes code for wealthy Americans in the last year Inflation Reduction Act. Moved to the administration said will yield $200 billion in additional revenue over the next 10 years. But I thought for some reason he did cut on the IRS at the end. It's supposed to be 10,000 and he did 20. That's what I think happens.
The IRS funding was a part of a bill that had already been passed. He just shrunk the amount that was going to grow.
Yeah, and then I'm looking here at the student loans. The bill will require the Biden administration to follow through with a plan to end the current pause on student loans repayments by late August. So I guess this is not after, I'm thinking, because I'm reading this. Yes. And what do you think about we're gonna face this in 2025? That I think is a good thing.
Face what in 2025?
There's not gonna be any debt ceiling drama in 2024, and that probably was a good thing.
Well, lately it seems like we've been having it twice a year.
Yeah,
So that's a huge move forward to not have to wait until 25.
And I think because President Biden is running, I think that probably would be a big distraction too. So I'm thinking he probably negotiate that with the Republicans so they can have the bills pay for 24 and then they would go back to that in 25. Right?
Yeah, well, definitely. You're
looking at your nose. Okay,
I was trying to find information on the defense thing because
I kind of
what I had included everything, but it doesn't talk about that.
Yeah, I kind of look in here, politics, CNN politics. I am looking here, and then I have what is this right here? Anyway, so let's talk about the big thing from this week. That is the ex-president Donald J. Trump that got indicted. Mm-hmm. One of many of the criminal problems, so criminal pending cases that he has. And I think there is 1, 2, and 3. The one with the lady that he had to pay, it was what, $5 million? We had
did you hear the latest on that?
No, she went ahead.
Because of Trump's defamation, the judge upped it to $10 million.
Wow. Good for her.
So because he's ignoring the judge's call, now she's getting a higher payout.
And the thing is that he continues to say the same thing. Yeah. So she went ahead and said, okay, it's probably the only thing that's going to shut him up is probably hidden his pockets.
Yeah.
Because he already has to pay her $5 million that she didn't ask for that. Uh-huh. She just wanted him to just make sure he knows you assaulted me. Yeah. You molested me. Right. And you're not gonna get away with this.
You wanted him to admit.
And he is digging. He dig his heel on it, and she's went back and said, you know what? And now I want $10 million. Yeah. And maybe hitting him in the pockets, he probably will stop at least talking.
I hope. Now, yes. Georgia is coordinating with the feds and the local authorities for making a charge regarding election tampering. That looks like that's the next thing to hit the news stand. So
I do have a problem, and I think I talked to you about this. I do have a problem that, okay, so he got indicted, and now this is going to go to the judge in Florida. That the indictment, when it happens in Florida, that's in his backyard.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't know if anything is going to happen to him because he has this lady. Her name is Elaine Cannon, and she was the judge that was keeping the papers to go, and because she was appointed by him. Uh-huh. And I told you Marco Rubio had business with her husband, and she's big in Florida, and so I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen. With this lady, because now she's in charge of the case.
Yeah. I didn't know this. Since we talked, I investigated a little bit and found out they intentionally filed it in Florida and put her on the case to try to tamp down on Trump's politicalization of this whole process, because he's trying to win the sympathy vote. Everybody is trying to cause him damage, and so they're putting it in his territory with his people, and letting them hold the bag if they let it go. I mean, it's a different thing to pretend like you are supporting Trump. You know, we have a bunch of politicians that are pretending to support Trump. You know, the whole reason they're doing it is to get his votes. But if you put them on the spot and they have to decide the fate of the nation over it, probably a different outcome, maybe.
And that is where me and you don't think the same. Mm-hmm. I don't know if these people care about the country. Yeah. I don't think they care about democracy. Yeah. I don't know about this. And I was listening to this lady that she wrote a lot about Trump today. And she said, is he become the president of the United States again, he is never going to leave. And she's right. He is never going to leave.
Who said that?
This lady that writes books and stuff. But I'm saying, and I do believe it, he's never going to leave. Yeah. And the Republicans that are backing him up, they don't know, or they don't believe, I don't think, we think because this has never happened in the United States that it can happen here. Yeah. And it's just crazy because I have this feeling too, that if he puts there again, he's not going to let go of that power. Yeah. He's not going to let it go.
Right.
And then
one of the problems is, I guess the reason why this is happening now is because Trump intentionally filed to run as soon as he could.
He did,
which forced them to have to do this to try to keep him out of office. And the reason I think why they're putting this court case where it is to hopefully convince more swing voters to not vote for Trump. Because if he's indicted, and people vote Trump into power, even if he is indicted, he's still within the window of being able to challenge it in the courts, which means that nothing is absolute until the challenging process is over with. Well, he could already be in the White House by the time that happens, and if he does, he could mandate that the Justice Department end this investigation, just like he did before. He fired justices.
That's why I don't understand why they waited this long too, and why it was Jack Smith appointed so late, because obviously he has done a really good job in the short time that he got the case. He has done a lot. We have the Senate House where they gather up all the information too. While Merrick Garner, what's his name?
Merrick Garner?
He wasn't doing anything. Why they waited this close to the election time, I don't understand that. Because they know me and you knowing Trump, you know this is what he's going to do. He's going to use this and said, okay, because they don't want me, they stole my presidency, and now they don't want me to be president again.
Yeah.
I don't understand how these people, how this part of the government, the judicial part of it, no, it's the judicial part of it, how it works, because they shouldn't be doing this after January 6th. This should have been done. And they continue to ask this man for these boxes. And I don't know why they waited after a year or more than a year to do what they're doing with the box drama.
Yeah.
As I take a pen where I used to work, there was classified, My computer, my phone, I couldn't use it for anything but work because it was information that was in there that I could jeopardize. Is I take that information, take it home. I know is that by a month I don't give back the phone and the computer.
Yeah.
They would be doing something. And why they waited so long? I don't understand how this works. Because they was asking this man for this stuff for more than a year.
Yeah, but it's when you're building a case, there's a lot more than just we know is wrong. We have to be able to prove it. We have to have witnesses that are able to validate it, and it has to get past the test of political.
I just don't think that's what that was. I think if you took a pen from work, and we know you have the pen, and we are asking you to bring the pen, please, and you take it more than a year to bring the pen, that doesn't even have to be a case. The case is after.
Right.
I charge you for staying with the pen and refusing to bring back the pen.
Yeah, but
why they give him so much time? That is the part where I'm very conflicted.
Yeah.
Why they give this man that time to sit and this so long?
After giving him all of this time and all of this evidence being put out there, how many people still support him?
Same people. 75% of the million people, a third of the people are just crazy.
Yeah. So, this is more than just a court case. This is a political drama as well. And they've secured some pretty amazing things. They've secured recordings of him talking about top secret stuff, calling it a secret. They subpoenaed his lawyers who now all quit on him. So they got stuff.
So the biggest thing for me is why they waited this long. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Why they gave him so much time and they waited this long. To me, it's just questionable that they almost make it easy for him. And Donald Trump always even today when he went to get range, he didn't take a picture. They didn't take his fingerprint. I don't know. I don't think they did. And I said, why? He is a regular citizen, just like me and you. And he break the law. He needs to be treated like that.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why it is that they treated him the way he is treated when they knew he had all these boxes. Because you are telling me that they knew how much boxes and they knew he had these boxes. They knew about these conversations too. Why they waited so long is to give him more room for him. Now this is the long the close to the end of the race. I'm saying that because we are in the middle of a president race, and we in the middle of 2023, and everybody's running. It's almost like everything is to favor him, and God help me, because I know I want to be wrong on this. I really, really want to be wrong.
Yeah.
That I don't think he's gonna get convicted.
Mm-hmm.
People are very happy that he got indicted, but he is going to Florida, and he's going to Florida to this lady that is judge that was appointed by him, and not just appointed by him. Everything that she did was to favor him. And she wasn't hiding it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think he's going to get convicted. Because just take one person to say, I don't think he is guilty, and that's it.
Yeah.
It just takes one person to say in the whole jury thing to say, no, I'm not going to vote that he's guilty.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why it is that it's almost like the whole system continues to help and to accommodate this man with all the advantages and the way they treat him and the time that they give him to do stuff. It's almost like I don't know, festering this thing that he already been doing for his whole life, and he get away with it. He's been getting away with it, and it looks like the system is still giving him room to get away with it. That's how it feels to me.
Mm-hmm. It does, and I agree with you when it comes to the media. The media, they sell a lot of newspapers from him being out there and doing all this crap.
Well, he is news. Definitely, he is news.
But responsible journalism. I don't think when he gave a speech after leaving court, I don't think that should have been on the news. Maybe mention it, but don't live stream his speech.
Well, because people wants to listen to it. He knows that.
Yeah, but you're talking about the system being messed up. Well, that's the biggest part of the system, is giving him airtime, giving him the ability to redeem himself.
Well,
the government doesn't have control over our mind.
I know
the government only has control over the procedure they follow for whatever they're doing.
And that's the media is something, but I question the procedures and how they handle it when it comes to him. That's where I have questions.
Who's they? The media?
No, I am talking about the media, and I'm talking about the procedures, the judicial procedures that are normally how you arrange somebody when they get indicted, when they take something from their job and you asking him to bring it. I question that part.
Well,
I question that part because I don't know if the judicial part of this can control what the media put. They can't do that.
They can't.
But given him the way they handle him when it comes to crimes and stuff that he commits, I question the judicial court and the judicial system. I do. And that's why he's been getting away forever with stuff, because the way they handle him, the media, they can't do anything about the media. We have free speech, but you got to follow the rules when it comes to how you arrange him, how the indictment, where you're going to do it, all those things. How long they gave him for him to sit with those papers. So the media is one of the most effective and dangerous tools for a person like him. I have to admit that, but Jack Smith can't do anything about that, and Merrick Garner can't do anything about that, because we have corporate media too.
Yeah,
but the way they handle him,
yeah,
I have so much. To me, it's conflicted. It's disturbing. It bothers me, to be honest.
The government is responsible to the people, whether we like it or not. You know, they have to some degree, they have to play some politics. Otherwise, you know, Merrick Garland could be fired.
For what? For doing his job the right way?
Just like the two before him.
He's doing his job the right way, and his boss is Joe Biden, not Donald Trump.
Yeah, I know.
So why are you gonna fire me for me doing my job the right way?
Well, you know, we used to question that before Trump. After Trump, we realize how vulnerable those positions are.
Is you gonna fire me for doing my job and doing it the right way? Then go ahead and fire me. That would be my response. I'm not going to launch to this job just because I have to kind of accommodate somebody that is a serial.
Right.
He is committing these crimes. He's been doing this his whole life.
Right.
So as I come in and you put me to do this job,
yeah,
and then you telling me you gotta go soft on it, I'm gonna say no.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Get somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm conflicted. I am disturbed. I'm like, I don't think he's gonna get convicted. I don't think he's gonna spend a day in prison. I don't think that's gonna happen. Because at this time of the game, it's going to be too messy. And he's just going to use this for his advantage.
Yeah. Well, I never thought we'd see this day.
Right.
We'd actually see the inside of a courtroom, but we do. So remember that when I want to give up with the other. So
I wanted
to see this happen.
Well, you know? So let's talk about the people that are running against him. Let's talk about Chris Christie. I kind of like Chris Christie in this environment, in this dynamic, because I think he's the only one that has the gut to say, you know, what other people, I don't know, is I'm running against you, and I'm getting all this ammunition to kill you. In the politics, I'm gonna use it. And I'm looking at all these people that are running against him, and they are defending him.
Yeah. Well, of all of the ones running against him, I think I would choose Chris Christie. I think.
Me too.
Because Haley, she's criticizing him, but I heard a report that she had stated that she would exonerate him.
She's gonna pardon him. That's why she's not gonna win.
Oh.
She said if she's become president of the United States, she will pardon him. Wow. And then we have the black guy that I always tell his name. And then we have Pence. Who else we have? And DeSantis. So what do you think about these guys? DeSantis, he is just a little Trump.
Yes, I agree with you. I do. He is probably, other than Trump himself, I think he's one of the scariest. I don't know Doug Burgum, the governor of North Dakota. He's running. I don't know anything about him.
Oh, they have another guy. What's his name? Somebody else running too. But I don't know. I'm thinking these people, they will tell you, like DeSantis, he's going to tell you, he's telling us what he's going to do if he wins. He's telling us what he's going to do. He's going to change the Constitution. He's going to go in and change some stuff. All of this different stuff. For the life of me, I don't think that a smart person should do that. But I think because he has seen not president, but Donald Trump done that and still got elected. Donald Trump, everything that he said he was going to do, he did it.
Yeah.
And he still got elected. You know, and he's still saying, you know what? Is I win again, I'm going to come and finish what I started. So we, I think DeSantis is thinking the same thing. And because we have people that don't care what he says or not, Donald Trump, they're still going to vote. And I think I don't know. I wish I could just sit and talk to people, no matter white, black, poor people, and say, these people are not for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is you think Donald Trump becoming president is only going to hurt black people? No, it's going to hurt everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone that is poor that lives in this country gonna be hurting.
Yeah.
He's not gonna make a world only for white people and then the black people live in another world. That is what they want you to think.
Yeah.
Is you vote for me, is you side with me, you're gonna be like me.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be favored because you're white, one, and second, you could see you're gonna have what I have.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not what Mussolini did. That's not what Hitler did. That's not what Franco did. That's not what Fidel Castro did.
Yeah.
That's not what the guy from China, what's his name? I don't want to kill his name. I was going to say, but I don't want to kill him. Yes, North Korea. That's not what happened. They live in a bubble. These men live in like kings with their family, and the rest of the country is suffering.
Yeah.
Whether you're white or black, you're not gonna. And I could just inject this into people's heads so they understand that there is power in unity. It doesn't matter what kind of unity. Yeah. Everybody collectively in this country, white, black, Hispanic, the 99% get together. These people, they profited by keeping us divided, divide and conquer. So I don't know. I don't think he is. I think Trump is going to be the nominee. I think so. I don't think there's anybody in that group but Christie that might be able to have a chance. And it's because I think, and let me know if I'm talking too much, that I am, that I think that a lot of people also are looking for someone to fight, to have the guts to fight. And I think Christie's showing that. Yeah. As you show that you're weak, I don't think that group of the Republicans, they don't want that.
Yeah.
So I think Christie might have a chance if he keep doing what he is doing. Well,
one of the things, I think the reason why Rubio, or sorry, not Rubio, but the guy from Florida and Trump have
DeSantis,
there we go. That have working for them is they've determined that candidates that call both parties corrupt and beyond repair are the ones who do the best. And those are the only two that probably really do that. Call their own party corrupt and beyond repair. You know, Trump does that all the time.
I think Trump puts himself like he's not even Republican or Democrat, and that I'm coming to save you from these people that, you know, and as I go to jail and as they indict me, imagine as this happened to me, it can happen to you. No, it can't happen to you. One, because you're not doing what he's doing. Second, because you're not rich like him. Okay. And now he got indicted They're saying, oh, well, I usually hear people saying, but it can happen to me. No. It's happening to him, and that's what they can't believe.
Yeah.
It happens to people like you and me every day.
Yeah.
What they can't believe is that it's happening to him.
Yeah.
So you hear these people say, no, it happened to him, it can happen. No, it happens to you every day. What he can't believe is happening to him.
Yeah.
So we're talking about.
Right.
Okay, so what else we want to talk about? I'm thinking one of the things that I was thinking is when it comes to what we doing when it comes to politics in this country, and Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, because I talk about I think I've talked to you a lot about the Democrats, and I'm not happy with them either. But this is the two parties that we have, and when you put the two against, the Democrats are a little better than the Republicans. But we need to have, I don't know, maybe a major change, a major shift in what's going on, Pastor Dennis. And I don't know, is you think that only our young people may be able to do that?
I have no idea what would work. I have a problem with pretending something is true just because it's popular to say it is. Okay. I will agree with everybody that 50 years ago, the Democratic Party was as corrupt as could possibly be. Okay. And I believe that corruption jumped parties to the Republican Party, over the next 10 years after that. And now what used to be the Democratic Party is now the Republican Party, as far as corruption and shamelessness and willing to do anything and everything. Okay. I do have a problem with the progressives that want to make everybody progressive today. And I have a problem with the moderates who are willing to screw our future just because it's a little too progressive. I have a problem with both of those groups. There's always politicians that are corrupt and that are lying. But when I check the integrity ratings of Democrats and Republicans, there's no comparison. Which one does the most lying?
And I agree with you on that. I like the part that I'm not really happy is I just don't think the Democrats are aggressive enough. I think they're also living in a bubble that they can't get out of this bubble. And we are looking for people that are really, really fight for this country more than ever. We need people to stand up and fight for this country. And I think the Democrats still think that they think about bipartisan. They think about how can we work with the Republicans. And the Republicans are not doing that. They don't want to do that.
So the problem is the Democrats care too much about democracy.
And there is a time to do that, and then there's a time not to do that. Because as you sleep, is we looking at where this country is going. We going into a monarchy. We going into our autocracia. How you say that in Spanish?
Aristocracy.
Yes. So we looking at this man and this party, because I can't say it's Donald Trump only. I'm thinking the Republican Party has been in this road for a while now, and Donald Trump became the gold cow that they put up there in that podium to worship. They just needed somebody to put up there to worship, and he became that. But the Republicans Party, is whatever he does represent the Republican Party. We can say he came and changed the Republican Party. He is a symptom of what the Republican Party is. And they needed
God's
a king
gift to the Republican Party, exactly what they were hoping for.
And he was that king that gold cow that they needed to put up there.
Yeah.
To worship, he is that.
Yeah.
So for me, when the Democrats has to fight different, you can't fight like fighting in the years of Reagan. You can't fight in the years that you was with Bush. You can't fight that fight with that Republican Party, like you fighting with that Republican Party, because it's not the same Republican Party. And that's where I have a problem with the Democrats, where I say, there's a time for everything. And this is not the time for you to fight like you was fighting in 1980 or 1990. This is different fight.
Yeah.
That's what I know you think Biden is too old, but that's what things I really love about Biden. When he called the Republicans on their desire to cut Social Security and Medicaid, and got them to commit in that battle, I thought that was brilliant. In this case, I think he baited the Republicans. He wasn't trying to defend a principle. I think he baited them so that they would sign up for this. They would pass this budget.
I'm thinking that. Let me turn off this.
And I agree, and I think that is the future of the Democratic Party.
I think
willing to go out on a limb like that and bait the Republicans, and and let them hang themselves for the good of the country.
I'm thinking the last speech that he did was brilliant. He has a lot of wisdom. He speaks and he knows what he's talking about, President Biden. I like him a lot. I like his cabinet. He is the one president that has put, there's more Black women in that cabinet, more diversity than you ever seen in the history of the United States when it comes to president. I like him a lot. I just think not only him, I just think the President Obama said that, if you want me to do something, make me. And I don't think he alone can fight this fight. I think he needs the Democrats to kind of push him to to fight differently, because he's been doing this since he was 29 years old. Yeah. And I think when he won, he came in with this idea. Oh, I've been working with the Republicans for years, and I could just sit with them and work with them. And when he realized this is not the Republicans that I used to work and sit with. So that is where I see the problem. That is where I see that they continue to want to do business like they did, and you can't do it with what they're working with now. Yeah. But I think he's smart, and I think he's a good president. I just think that the whole party has to be a little bit more aggressive. It has to be thinking long term. I think
specifically Manchin.
I think the Republicans, they think long term. they put things in places right now. And I was talking to you yesterday. Right now, as we speaking, they are looking at how to change everything, gerrymander for 2028. The Republicans are doing that today,
Yeah.
and the Democrats, they wait till the time gets there, and then they say, okay, oh, we need to fix this, or we need. No, you need to start thinking long term. You need to start putting things in place long term. And I don't think the Democrats does that as well as the Republicans. They have changed the whole judicial system when they have put so much judges. They have put more judges than ever, and judges in this country become like kings. If they say something, you can't change it. Right. Then that is a strategy that the Republicans have done, that the Democrats still sitting waiting for judges to be appointed, because we have one lady that's sick and saying she can't come. Then you see
do you realize that I think 60% of judges are Democratic leaning?
No, we have more. We have more Republican. We always have more Republican judges. We always had more Republican judges. They're more always, because the Republicans, they know that the judges that they put, even if they're not in power, can change and uphold laws that they want. So I think the Democrats needs to start thinking this way. And thinking long term, and putting more judges, putting more appointed, starting to plan for the 2028. Start planning, because the Republicans are doing the same. They do that all the time. You're looking. It's looking.
So, I've never seen the majority of judges being Republican leaning.
Yeah, I mean, well, we can look it up, but I know I read somewhere that there always been more Republican judges than Democrats judges, and I think it started also with Reagan, with Reagan, but they said it always been more the Republican judges.
They have been working on that. Yes.
Yes. So. So there is a lot.
You could only appoint judges to open seats, so you don't really have an opportunity to stack judges. When they come open, you can fill it or not fill it. If you don't fill it, then you lose that opportunity.
Well, but what happened with President Obama is that the Republicans didn't let him fill a lot of seats. I don't know how that happened. And then when
there were two Supreme Court justices that we know about that he wouldn't let them fill.
Yes, and that was McConnell. We gotta be more strategic. I think I have, and you have heard me a lot said I'm a little bit frustrated with the Democrats, because I feel that they need to be more aggressive, because we're not talking about Democrats and Republicans. We're talking about this country. We're talking about the Republicans clearly creating a gap where there is rich people, and a gap where there is really poor people. And the other day, I think so much about this stuff that the other day I was like, why is that they want people to be poor? What it is that they want people to be poor? Is you too poor, you are not thinking to go out and vote. You're not really paying attention to those things, because you're living in survival mode. And that's exactly what that is.
It's a caste system. They're not good enough. They're not smart enough to have money. The Republicans have been very open about the idea that they want a representative thing. They don't think everybody should be able to vote. Some people shouldn't be voting.
Yes. They have said loud and clear, but it is why they want people to be poor. They want people to be poor because it's you living in survival mode. You're
Yeah.
not going to be paying attention to politics. You're not going to have time for that. It's you
I
have
want
to
money
work.
after me.
Hmm. You have to work 3 and 4 jobs just to make ends meet. Then you don't have time to go out and go vote. When you got to go pick up your kids, you have to work a couple jobs.
Yeah.
That is the explanation that I see when it comes to they creating this big gap where we having poor and rich, and there's nothing in the middle.
And you don't have access to a vehicle to go to this polling station.
Mm-hmm.
Because we move it to your neighborhood.
So, Pastor Dennis, we're getting close. It's almost 9 o'clock. I didn't know the time goes so fast. So, when I'm gonna say some couple words for you at Father's Day game. Your daughter with one word.
But one word that I have to say regarding my daughter?
Yes.
Intelligent.
Wow. Okay. Favorite food for Father's Day.
My favorite food for Father's Day?
Mm-hmm.
Something I haven't had before.
That's good. That is good.
I love to find new places and try food I've never had before.
Okay, so your wife, she's hearing.
We actually, for Mother's Day, went up to the Burke Museum.
Wow.
So we could have American Indian.
Wow.
For Mother's Day, because we had heard about a new American Indian restaurant that opened.
Where is that at?
It is the featured restaurant in the Burke Museum, which is north of Seattle.
Okay.
It's a museum that my daughter used to claim as her museum when she was young. They have this amazing display of dinosaurs and prehistoric stuff.
I'm gonna have to go out there then. My son used to love dinosaurs too. Now, favorite memory of your dad. Is your dad still alive?
My dad is not. All of my parents and my wife's parents are all dead.
So favorite memory of your dad?
Probably playing basketball with him.
Oh, wow.
My father was disconnected. So anytime you actually got his attention was good.
Oh, I don't know what I did here. I cut something.
Well, everything looks normal on this end.
Oh, okay, good. So, Pastor Dennis, we're going to close this show. And I wanted to, what it is you want to tell fathers today, Father's Days. And I just want to tell people that make sure you not just listen to one voice when it comes to politics or anything. Be more critical thinking. Pick up from everywhere and a little bit of pieces here and there, because then critique everything that you see and hear. I know a lot of people say, well, the more questions you ask, the more you read. Don't just take what people just give you as it is. Question it. It is good. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say, thanks everyone for listening to us this day and now. Hope you have a beautiful Father's Day. Enjoy with your family. And I'm going to give you the last word, Pastor Dennis.
Okay. Hey, fathers, your kids want more of you. They want more of your time, not your money. They want that time with you. So give them that time. Be the kind of father that you would want to have on your own. And enjoy the day. Happy Father's Day.
Okay, everyone has a happy Father's Day. Pastor Dennis, bye.
Okay. Figured out how to turn it off?